Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us for the replay. My name is Jennifer Hart, and I am introducing this webinar today, and here's why. So, when I was turning 30, 8 years ago, I made a bucket list because I was feeling very stuck in life, very unhappy, and I wanted to change it. So, I started writing down everything I always wanted to do and had never done. And then I started doing these items. And as I was doing these items, I realized that I am a connector. So I wanted to go skydiving, and I shared with everybody what I wanted to do, and I invited people to join me. And I had the time of my life. Those are some of my best memories, going on a cruise in the Western Caribbean with 30 friends, creating a flash mob, going speed dating. And most of these things I did with other people, and I helped them to check their bucket list items off as well, which ended up leading me on my spiritual journey and my journey of self-growth and development, where I eventually ended up selling all my stuff and traveling around the world for 8 months by myself with no plans, no limits, and expectations. And as a control freak, or recovering control freak, as I like to say, that is kind of a huge deal, and it was so magical. Since I returned 3 years ago, I wanted to share the details of this journey, as I have never really done that on Facebook or social media besides a couple of pictures, and I want to write a book about it. So, January 1st, 2020, I wrote a to-do list of bucket list items that I would like to complete for this year. August rolled around, and I had not done anything to start writing a book. So I called up my good friend Kim Day, whom I met at a workshop series in the personal development world. We instantly connected. We choose my people. You know, when you just have that connection and you're like, yeah, that's a good person to be rolling around with. That was us. So fast forward, I call Kim. We have a connection call when the pandemic hit, and I told her I wanted to write a book. She's a book coach, but I had just joined another coaching program, so I was really hesitant. I was like, I don't know, like, how am I going to pull off doing both programs? So I was like, let me just get off the call today and think on things. So a couple months went by, and I was just like, okay, it's July now, and I have not started a book, and it's on my list. It's on my bucket list. I need to get it done. I need to share this information with the world. So I call her back, and I said, hey, look, I want to write a book. I know a lot of other people that want to write a book. I'd say like probably one in every two people wants to write a book, if not almost everybody. And if I brought you and connected the people who want to write books, because that is my gift, to connect people and information to each other, to raise up the consciousness of the collective, would you consider doing a group coaching program and cutting the price? And she said, yes. So it's actually going to be really cool because I love harmonious community. So we'll be having a community, we'll have a support group, we'll have a Facebook group. We're going to have accountability buddies and a mastermind. So it's not just me writing a book on my own journey now. I'll be getting input and help and support and accountability from a group of people and an amazing book coach. With that being said, we would love for you to join the journey. The book program will be starting September 2nd and running until November, I'm looking at my calendar, 18th. And it'll be on Wednesdays. If you want more information, please message me. But go ahead and watch this webinar, and it will tell you a lot more of what it's about. Sit back, grab some popcorn, and I hope you enjoy. Kim is amazing.
We're all here today to learn a little bit more how you can get more clients and scale your income learning by writing and publishing a book that you can use as a marketing tool to grow your business. So my goal for today's presentation, for you guys especially, is if you stay till the end, is that I've got a really special gift that I'm going to give to anybody, despite no matter whether you decide to take another step or not. But I have a 10-step guide to writing and planning and writing a business building book, and it's actually really more of a workbook. It's actually 20 pages of downloadable worksheets. So between writing exercises and how to create a perfect title and subtitle for your book, to cover design, to planning out your manuscript, and a checklist for getting your book done that you can print off and actually tick the items off the list. So I know for me, I love being able to use workbooks and resources like this. And I know that this one, despite whether or not you decide to move forward and do this program with us in September, that you're going to get so much value out of this that you could actually get well on your way, even without moving forward. So I want to make sure that everybody that's here today will be able to get a copy of that, and that'll be my gift to you for coming and showing up. And a lot of you that I know, which is awesome. So you've heard me speak before, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about me and how I came to be a book coach. And I'm really excited to have you all here. And so, you know, I want to take a second to congratulate everybody that took time out of their day. Thank you so much for the patience as we're going through all of the technology challenges. But 80% of success is just showing up. So while other people are, you know, sitting on the couch and watching TV every night, or they aren't taking the time to invest in themselves and in their business, for you guys that are here today, then hi Stacy, you got your camera working. That's awesome. I just want to take the time to say thanks for taking that time to invest in yourself, because truly 80% of success is just showing up. So congratulations for being here. And a little bit of housekeeping. I only ever have 2 rules while I'm presenting. Rule number 1 is don't believe a word I say, because I can only come from my perspective and my experience. So what I want you to do today is keep an open mind, just listen to and take some notes, and take what you can out of the presentation or out of the value that's presented here, and implement what feels right for you. Toss aside the rest of it. It's okay. I'm not the only expert that talks about different marketing strategies. There's many options that you can use to grow your business. This is just one of them that worked really effectively for me. And so I'm super excited to share with you how that might work for you. And the second rule is another 80% rule, but you actually learn much faster and you retain information much faster when you participate. So I'd love for you to take some time to make sure that you turn off your cell phone, turn off any email notifications, leave the distractions behind. We're gonna go for maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes. And if you focus, take some notes, I'll ask some questions. If you can participate, you're definitely gonna learn more and get more value out of this. So a little bit about me. So is it okay if before I get into the content that I share a little bit about me and how I came to be here? Okay, so we've got some nods of the heads and everything else. Remember, participate. I'm looking at your faces. I can tell if you're paying attention or not. So you think I only see my screen, but I see all of you guys too. So I've done a lot of things right in my career. I was a financial advisor for over 13 years. And by the end of my practice, I had written my very first book called The Financial Fitness Playbook, The Ultimate Guide to Winning the Money Game. So for those of you who don't know, I met Stacy before I'd written this book. We were at actually a 3-day book coaching workshop in Vancouver. She talked about that in the chat box. So and it's actually not through that book coaching program that I ended up writing my book, but I had been interested, and I heard a few people in the introductions say that, where, you know, you feel like I wanted to write a book for years, or I have this book inside of me. And so I had been doing a lot of research. And when I finally took the plunge, though, I was able to write my book in less than 3 months. And when I did that, everything changed for my business. I'd literally doubled my income in less than 12 months. I added 13 properties to my real estate portfolio. So I was I was already niched in my finance business, where I was helping other people get invested in multifamily properties. So multifamily properties is like apartment buildings. So duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, small apartment buildings is what I focused on. And I was teaching people how to do that, to build assets for retirement, and as well create passive income along the way using rental income. Because a lot of the people that I sat down with, you know, in their late 40s or 50s with zero savings, that were struggling and really freaked out about how they were going to be able to retire. And quite frankly, when you're 50 years old, if you're not throwing about $12,000 to $15,000 at your retirement savings, Jocelyn, who's in the world of finance, could probably attest to this. You've run out of one of the most important assets that you have in your life, which is time. you're running out of time. You don't have enough time to pad that investment account. So I was always looking for think outside of the box strategies to be able to grow wealth. And this ended up being one of them for my clients. But little did I know that my book was going to be my strategy for creating wealth for myself and my business. So after that all happened, I kind of realized some other things. So I did a bunch of things right. I also did a lot of things wrong. So as an entrepreneur, we get into business because we're passionate about what we do and we're really good at it, right? I see Jocelyn nodding her head. She uses this a lot in her marketing. But we're passionate about what we do, but we're not always business savvy. So we don't know how to do the marketing. We don't know how to do the business finance. We don't know how to hire staff. Or, maybe we're not great at all of the administrative work like Anastasia would be. And so we have all of these struggles in our business, which makes us not necessarily great business people, although we might be very skilled at what we're doing. So I struggled for years, for probably 10 to 12 years as a financial advisor. I would struggle. I would go in and out of trying to do my finance business as an entrepreneur. And then what would happen is I would be like on these months where I'd have great income and on months where I'd have low income. And so I don't know if, you don't necessarily have to raise your hand and admit it, but as an entrepreneur, like this was something that I struggled with. It was, and I call it the income roller coaster. And so on months where I was down in income, this is more like how it felt. Like I was like, holy shit, like how the hell am I gonna make that next mortgage payment? Or like where is my next little paycheck coming from? So I would be struggling, and I'd go back and work in the industry in finance usually, but in a job. So I worked a lot in the automotive sector, and I just went in and out of being an entrepreneur in finance and having a job in finance. And I knew that if I was going to make it work, that something needed to change. Now, have you ever noticed that when you kind of think like something needs to change, that every now and again, the universe just kind of throws something right in front of you that kind of like really hits you over the head and makes you create some change in your life? Well, that happened for me. And in 2015, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that I call that my TSN turning point of the game. So this was the universe like bonking me over the head. And maybe bonking is the wrong word. Maybe like a sledgehammer to the head was a little bit more accurate. Where this was my like point where if you've ever been faced with an illness or maybe the death of a family member or a job loss, you start to have all of these thoughts in your head of like, what am I doing? Like I knew I had so much more in me. But I was quite frankly, like living on the sidelines of the game of life. I really wasn't putting in what I knew I could do with respect to my greatness. And my mom had passed away at the age of 48 from breast cancer. So for me, this was a huge, big moment in my life where I needed to start taking stock of where I was really going. What was my purpose for being here? What was the legacy that I was going to leave behind? Because quite frankly, when I was taking stock, I was like, I'm just a huge, big loser. Like I'm not making the money I know I need to be making. I'm struggling constantly. I had not been married, no kids. I had a condo. I had this condo in Vancouver, but that's about it. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was house rich and cash poor, which a lot of people in larger cities are. And I was like, that's it. So I made a decision in that moment though. So I firmly believe that everything in life happens to you for a reason, and that reason is there to serve you. So it's not about why is this happening to me? It's the question needs to be, sometimes we need to ask ourselves better questions. The question for me was, why is this happening for me? So I needed to dig deep, and I realized that most of the results that we get in our lives, or that I was getting in my life, were a direct reflection of what I was doing, my crappy thinking, my self-sabotaging behaviors, it was all me. And I knew that if I wanted to make a change, I needed to go inward and change my inside to get better results on the outside. So I started on a journey into personal development, which is where I met Jen. And I started doing all of these amazing things and learning all of these tools and strategies to be able to not only, fix my mindset, or not, maybe fix is the wrong word, but improve my mindset. And I opened myself to a whole new world of opportunities where I could do better because I was learning how to be better. And it was pretty awesome and amazing. And everything changed after that. So I worked for years and years and years doing it the hard way. So what's really exciting though is I'm going to shrink all of that down, and I'm going to show you guys how you can cheat and do it the fast and the easy way. So the hard way for me, in the world of finance, I feel like, and what I feel like, that's what I was taught how to do as a financial advisor. So my leaders that were teaching me how to do my prospecting and my lead generation were teaching me to go out to networking events. And at networking events, I was like a dime a dozen. If you can remember way back to like when we could network in person, I would be one of like a half a dozen financial advisors in the room, alongside the realtors and the mortgage brokers. So unless then, of course, you belong to a networking group where you could be one profession only. But then when you could be one profession only, you weren't allowed to be in other networking groups. So it was all these backwards ways of prospecting that weren't working for me. I was doing tons and tons of one-to-one coffee meetings. So spending an hour at a time talking to somebody who may or may not be interested in even using my services. And I would do endless follow-up and chasing, because a lot of people, when it comes time to, hey, making that decision to work with you, they'd stop picking up the phone and stop answering their emails. So if any of this sounds familiar, I'm telling you, there's a way easier way. And after doing this for 13 years, I realized that there is a way to do it that's not only fast, but it's easy, and it's way more profitable. It takes way less time than doing it the old way. So, do you want the easy way? I'm pretty sure we all know where this is going, because we're all here for the same reason, learning how to write a book. So what I'm going to share with you over the next 15, 20 minutes is how to use a book to create an unlimited stream of new customers into your business without having to do all the chasing, which is the part that I hated the most. I didn't want to have to chase. I wanted people coming to me. So I'm going to show you how a book is a really great tool and strategy to do that. And I'm going to do that by introducing you to 3 secrets. So secret number 1 that I'm going to share with you is that it's not really about a book. Okay. Secret number 2 is that, because one of the biggest objections I get when I'm talking to people about a book is they think it's going to take a long time. It's going to be really hard, and that it's going to be really expensive or cost them a lot of money to do, and maybe not have a great return on investment. So I'm going to debunk that myth with secret number 2. And then I'm going to talk to you about secret number 3, which is why success leaves clues. So the first secret, it's not really about a book, but it's all about your marketing. And the number one thing, I was just actually listening to a seminar from one of my mentors, T. Harv Eker, which is who was involved with the personal development program that I met Jen through. And he talks about the 3 parts of running a successful business: your sales and marketing, your product or service, and then your operations. So all your day-to-day stuff that you do, including your finance, that make you run a great business. And that most average entrepreneurs are spending about equal time on each of these parts of their business. And then when they get really busy with lots of clients, they let their sales and marketing drop as they're getting new clients. And then when they're starting to run out of clients, they amp back up their sales and marketing. And then they're always in this hamster wheel, which is like that income roller coaster of where you're going up and down, not necessarily getting a consistent and reliable source of leads. And what he suggests is that you actually should be spending 80% of your time on your business in the sales and marketing arena, because sales and marketing is where you get your new customers. It's where your lead generation comes from. And in today's world, and everything has really, really changed, there's 5 marketing must-haves that your marketing needs to accomplish for you in order to be effective. And so I'm going to talk to you about those 5 marketing must-haves right now in secret number 1, which is 1, your marketing needs to attract people to your business instead of you having to chase them. So we talked about that a little bit, or I talked about that a little bit in the beginning. And how do you do that? Well, one of the ways you do that is to get your prospect raising their hand before you've even gotten on a call with them. So I talked about the fact that getting on a one-on-one meeting is not necessarily the best and most effective use of your time, but it is if somebody's already raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in your topic matter. So something that would get somebody to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm possibly a good prospect, would be doing something like this, getting on a webinar, hosting a workshop, where everybody that's signing up, I mean, some of you are signing up just because you're my friend, I get it, but hopefully some of the people that are signing up are truly interested in the topic matter that you're presenting on, which means, hey, they're self-identifying themselves as someone who's interested in the product or service that you have. This is critical because now you know that you're spending time, and furthermore, if you're doing it this way, you're leveraging your time, because now I'm talking to, how many people do we have on? I didn't see the total tally, but like say 10 people. I'm doing one presentation to 10 people instead of 10 one-hour presentations. And so now we get to collapse timeframes and actually be more efficient in our lead generation and prospecting. So a book is a great way to do that, where if you're giving away, for example, a free PDF copy of your book, or you've probably seen them, but the free plus shipping book funnel, where you're charging somebody a small amount of shipping and handling so that they can actually get a physical copy of your book. These are great tools to have people self-identify as people who are interested in your product or service. So that's one of the great tools that that you need to have in your marketing arsenal, and one of the things that a book does for you. Number two is your marketing needs to differentiate yourself from your competition. So as a financial advisor, again, I was usually one of a half a dozen people in the crowd trying to get the business of the same people that were in that room. So how do you position yourself as the expert and help yourself stand out from the crowd? Your marketing needs to help you do that. It needs to position you as unique and different from your competition. And one way to do that is to be able to use marketing material that solves this problem. And a book is a great strategy, because I actually, at the time that I was a financial advisor, I didn't actually know any other financial advisors in my local community that had a book. But every guru that I followed had a book. So think about some of the people in your industry, perhaps, that you follow, and think about whether or not they have a book. So for me, I was following in the US people like Susie Orman or David Bach. In Canada, I was following people like David Chilton or Gail Vaz Oxlade. All of them had books, and all of them used these books to position themselves as an expert. Which brings me to point number 3 that your marketing needs to have, which is visibility. So getting in front of not only more of your target market, but more of the right people that you're trying to talk to. And one of the best ways to do that is to get on other people's platforms. So I talked about leveraging your time, doing like one presentation to 10 people, like in something like this. Another great strategy is getting on other people's platforms. And I'm not talking, we used to do this on live stages sometimes, but there's also podcasts in people's Facebook groups. So in people's even courses. So for the course that we're running it from September to November, I actually have multiple guest speakers that are going to come on and present to my group of people. So as an example, and some of you on this call know her, Michelle Abraham, she teaches people how to use a podcast to grow your business. She's taking the program. She's going to actually be a participant, but she's also going to do a guest bonus teaching segment where she's going to teach you how you could turn your book into a podcast. So how to use the content that you're creating for your book, repurpose it for another amazing marketing tool. So again, you're collapsing some of the effort that you have to do for your marketing, creating more resources and more assets for your business. And then she's actually talking to a group of people that she didn't have to bring together and collect, but that are her same ideal target market. So this is really critical. So you can think about in your industry, who is it that you could get in front of? Where does your target market hang out? And who else is talking and speaking to that target market that is somebody that you could collaborate, that's not a complete competition to you? So Michelle is not competition to me. Yes, she teaches marketing, but she's teaching podcasting. I'm teaching book writing. So I can have her come and talk to my audience as many times as I want. And I'm not worried about losing business to her. We are collaborating together as marketing partners to get in front of the same audience, because her audience is my audience and my audience is her audience. So think about what audiences you could get in front of and talk to by using your leverage as a published author. Positions yourself as a trusted expert or authority. So of course, you instantly position yourself with credibility. I find it really amusing that this is true. However, it really is the truth. So I was a financial advisor for 12 years before I wrote my book. So I clearly was an expert in my subject matter. But I'll tell you what, somehow you package it up, take it out of your brain, put it into paper, put it in a little pretty package called a book, and somehow people perceive you as more of an expert than you were 3 months before you wrote it. And it's all your own personal intellectual property. It's something you've been teaching. So if you're already an expert, or even if you're not some people have these limiting beliefs that, well, who am I? Maybe I'm not the expert to be talking about this. Well, it's kind of like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Sometimes the book makes you the credible expert. Sometimes you're the expert writing the credible book. Either way, the teacher becomes the expert as soon as they have that published book. So it's one of the fastest ways to position yourself as an expert and have people coming to you and fulfilling all of those other parts of your marketing. And last but not least, your marketing needs to have longevity. So, pun intended here, it needs to have shelf life. And there is no better strategy with respect to your marketing that has better shelf life than, I believe, a book. A podcast is pretty close. YouTube videos, yes, they stay up online. But think about things that a lot of people do. Realtors are always pop to my mind because they're constantly delivering flyers in the mail and postcards, and they're putting ads on, on the radio or TV or billboards. And all of these things are quickly gone, but nobody throws out a book. And even if they do think they want to get rid of it, it's typically donated somewhere. So who knows who might happenstance themselves on your subject matter. So being able to create longevity in your marketing is really critical to have a powerful marketing asset for your business. And we talked a little bit about it earlier, but what also, in addition to the longevity and shelf life that your book creates, but it becomes an asset that you can repurpose to all of your other marketing. So you can take each of your chapters of your book, turn that into if say you had 10 chapters of your book, they can become 10 modules in a course or a program that you teach. Your 10 chapters or modules can become 10 blog posts. And then your 10 blog posts can each be broken down into smaller segments to become social media posts. So it becomes a never ending supply of content. So when you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, what am I going to do another Facebook Live about? Or what am I going to talk about this time in my 1-minute infomercial when I'm networking? You can open up your book, flip to one of your chapters, and just methodically start going through all of your content and using it for content that you repurpose into the rest of your marketing. So that is secret number one, how your book is not really about a book, but it's all about your marketing. And I don't think, I can't think of a book that is better to solve each one of these problems than a book. So it gets your prospects coming to you instead of you having to chase them. It helps you stand out from your competition. It helps you increase your visibility by leveraging the ability to get on other people's platforms and be seen by more people in your target market. It positions and aligns you as an expert and a trusted advisor to your prospects and potential clients. And it creates shelf life and longevity for your marketing. So, secret number 2 is leverage. And I talked about this in the first part, but quite literally, the fastest, easiest, and most profitable asset in your business is a book. You can leverage it to get on public speaking platforms. You can leverage it to create more assets for your business. All of these things that collapse timeframes and help you talk to more people and close more business is absolutely critical if you want to be successful in business and you want to increase your profitability and be able to scale. And some of the challenges that I hear people talking about is that they think it's going to be hard, and they think that they maybe aren't smart enough, or that they're not a good writer, or I hear I'm too busy. I just don't have time to write a book. And I'm just not sure what kind of things I would write about, or I'm not credible enough. I'm not the expert yet. There are so many objections that I hear, but I'm telling you right now, I wrote my last book in 10 days because I was already teaching the subject matter. If you are already teaching your subject matter, it's going to fly off the shelf for you. In probably about an hour to 2 hours a week, you can have a book in your hand. And can you imagine if 2020, all of a sudden we could look back, and instead of 2020 being the year where we all remember the pandemic, because of course we're going to remember the pandemic. This was a crazy year. What if you could look back on 2020 with your hindsight vision and also go, wow, 2020 was also the year though that I made some big, huge changes in my business, or I made some big, huge shift in my life. I went from being an employee to an entrepreneur, or I set the ball in motion to do that. And what if 2020 could be that year that you said, you know what, this was the time where I made the decision to invest in myself and become a published author. And that was the year that I wrote and published my very first book. So that's something that I think is pretty exciting. I know Jen's really excited about it. So thanks. Yes, Jocelyn too. That's awesome. I know there was no greater feeling for me when I unpacked that first box of my first ever book. Actually, the second one was just almost just as exciting. But when you open up that box for the first time and you pull out your book, and I just got the goosebumps even thinking about it. And it was such an amazing feeling. So I would love to be able to share that experience with you and help you take your business to another level, not only for 2020, but beyond. So the last and final secret number 3, is that you need to have a system. Success leaves clues. Jocelyn knows this one for sure. She's got systems in place for everything. Anastasia, I'm sure, has systems in place for pretty much everything. Me, not so great of a systems person in some of those areas, but I do have a system and a roadmap to follow for how you can get a book out of your head and onto paper in record time. And so I'd like to introduce you to what the program looks like. So this is my simple 5-step system on how you can become a published author in 3 months or less. And this is exactly what we're going to be going through as a collaborative, as a group, as a community from September to November of this year, if you decide that you'd want to take part in it. And so I call it my 5P signature process. And the 5 Ps are right there that you can see. Number 1 is plan. So in the planning phase, we go through things like identifying your perfect, ideal target market client and what is their biggest problem that they're suffering and they're facing in their life right now. And what is that ideal desired result that they're looking for? And how can you get them from the problem they're experiencing right now to that desired result that they're looking to get to? How can you help them get there faster and more efficiently and easier and with less pain by using your signature system or your process or your service or your product? So we take a real deep dive into who you're trying to talk to, the problem that you solve for your client, and then creating a clear message to them that shows them that you are the expert. And by clear messaging in a book, you can imagine what that looks like. It's your title and your subtitle is the first thing. And the next thing is that title and subtitle that jumps off the page at them needs to make them turn the book over and read the back cover copy, which will tell them exactly what it is that they're going to experience by consuming your content, the content that's going to position you as the expert and hopefully lead them back to you as a customer. Because it's not about writing a book to sell $10 or $20 books. It's about writing a book to be able to sell a $1,000 or a $2,000 coaching program or course. So people think they're going to use a book as an additional income stream. I suggest thinking a little bit bigger than that, because sometimes if you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to create a book to sell books and create that extra revenue stream, kind of like the analogy that I use, which is stepping over dollars to pick up nickels. So what you want to do is make sure that that book is leading people back to your program or service offering or product offering. And then right away, once we've got all of that kind of figured out and sorted out, the fun begins. We start the promotion because it's all about shouting it from the rooftop that you're the author of the upcoming book. Because even as the author of the upcoming book, people instantly perceive you as more credible and more trusted, even if you haven't written a single word yet. So some people get a little bit freaked out, and I'm going to show you something. I have a really, really powerful tool that I'm going to give away as a bonus for anybody that jumps in for September, and it's all about tools to help you promote on social media and everything else. The third part, the third and fourth parts, these are kind of like the, you have to get it done. It's the logistics. It's a little bit boring in my opinion because I'm the creative one. But the produce and the publish phase, this is where you're actually writing your book content. You're putting together all the pieces that need to go into a book. There are 12 parts to every book that you need to have to be perceived as a viable author and not just somebody who's been self-published. So that it takes you one step above everybody that's throwing out an ebook. So there's editing and formatting. There's how to get your author website up and running on a Kindle KDP. How do you use Amazon print on demand? And there's all sorts of logistics that go into there that we cover in the produce and publish sections of the program. All the while we're promoting the whole way along. So people are getting that buzz going and you're generating some awesome excitement about your big launch that you're going to do either at the end of November or December, and just in time for Christmas, and maybe make a little bit of your investment back by selling some books in time for the holidays. And then what most people love is the profit section. So I teach you really all of the different ways that you can use your book to explode your income results through lead generation and speaking and all of these amazing tools. So we go through that 5-step program in a 12-week period. And by the end of the 12 weeks, you have a book in your hot little hands, ready to go and ready to explode your business results. So that's really exciting. So let me share with you the bonuses that I'm going to include. So bonus number 1 is called my Ultimate Author Marketing Kit. So once we have a cover design and everything else ready for your book, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide everyone with digital marketing assets that you can use to share on social media. So all of these little memes that include people holding your book on desks and tables, all of the little graphic and artwork that you won't have to worry about creating, because I have a program that I can create all of these fairly easily and efficiently. And I'm going to provide everyone with a little package of social media memes that you can use then on a weekly basis to begin promoting yourself and the launch of your book. And you can use it so that it makes your social media marketing super easy and super automated. Bonus number 2 is an audio and PowerPoint templated author marketing guide. So everything it's 6 modules for everything that you need to know to leverage your relationships, to create better marketing, to turn on the power of media and publicity, to be able to increase your and leverage your time and get on really powerful platforms, how to use your website to market your book, how to create those sales funnels, how to just really unleash a whole plethora of marketing strategies that work in tandem with your book to be able to skyrocket your results. And then the third bonus, which I'm super excited about, is actually provided to you courtesy of Michelle Abraham, who I was just talking about, who's the podcast queen in our in our networking group, and she has generously donated a workshop. It's a 4-hour workshop that she is going to give everyone who participates this workshop for free. It's a $497 value. She's currently selling tickets for the workshop for $97, but for anyone here who moves forward, it's going to be completely 100% free. And it's how to create, launch, and sell your very own private audio product in only 4 hours. So you'll actually go into the book course with an idea of an audio version of your content that you can use also to be able to use for your lead generation. So if you've ever thought about creating or turning your book into an audiobook, this would be a really great bonus. I know Jocelyn consumes audiobooks pretty much indefinitely, and it's a great way to be able to have a lead into creating audio products and audio assets for your business. So a really super awesome bonus that she was generous and gracious enough to throw in. So I'm super excited about that. So that pretty much wraps up all of the content. So I hope that over this past, I don't even know that we've been an hour. I'm not really sure how much time, but I hope you agree that, you know, it was some time well spent, and that you learned a couple of things for your marketing, and maybe got a few tips and tricks for how you can leverage your time and use your marketing a little bit more effectively. Obviously, I can't cover everything about how to write and publish a book in a 1-hour webinar. So, and even if I had all day, it would take way longer than I would need. But I do have a special offer so that you can get everything that you do need to know and take a next step forward, and which won't involve pulling out your wallet today. So everybody can stay calm. I'm not going to sell you anything today. The next step is a really easy one. And if you do take another step, I'll just remind you of the bonuses that you're going to get that I just mentioned previously, but I'm going to add 2 other ones in as well. So you'll of course get the social media marketing kit, which is all the memes that you can use to promote on social media easily and effectively. The ultimate author marketing guide, which is that 6-module audio course that you can listen to at your leisure, and to be able to explode your marketing results using your book. You're going to get Michelle Abraham's bonus, which is how to create, launch, and sell your very own audio asset in under 4 hours. But I'm going to throw in a 1-hour private strategy session with me, because for Jen and a few people that have been on strategy sessions with me know that I'm like I don't know what it is. It's kind of like my superpower. But when I'm looking at my own, and I don't know if maybe other people feel this about their own business, sometimes it's hard to see your own business for yourself. But for some reason, when you're with somebody else, I can get outside of you and get above you and really look down and hone in on some of those strategies that you could be using and who you should be targeting, and get some clarity on anything that you're struggling with respect to your marketing and finding and attracting your perfect client. And I'd love to offer that up to anybody that moves forward.
And I just want to chime in there, because I've sat in on these calls with a lot of people, and I kid you not, like, I can testify that, one, I've seen it in action, and it's just like pew, 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 like all these ideas and all these options. And then the people, a lot of them are my good friends, have been like, oh, I didn't even think of it like that. Like, and so everything completely changes. So anyone that I know, I've been telling them, like, get on a call with Kim. She's amazing. She's offering this, like, take advantage. Whether you sign up for the program or not, you might leave with some ideas that might help you, and maybe you work with us in the future. I don't know. So just had to add my 2 cents.
Yeah, I love doing it. It makes my spidey senses tingle, and it was why I'm passionate about doing this, is really getting to go deep with people and help them kind of unleash some of the things that maybe they're just too close to see. So they've got their own superpowers, and so my superpower is uncovering your superpowers, which is really fun. So I'm happy to offer that up. And I'll also throw in I had one sitting here and I moved it around. But anyways, I'm going to throw in a free copy of my book, of Write and Grow Rich, as well. So for anyone who moves forward. So, and of course, at that point, we're now at the point where you have some options. The first option, of course, is always you can do nothing, and then nothing else changes for 2020. So if you're someone who has been saying, hey, you know, I really want to get this done, I want to write a book, it's my time, then your second option is to make this small commitment in yourself today and think about all of the value that you'll get in return. And so again, the commitment that I'm asking you to make today is not to pull out your wallet, but I'm going to ask you to book a strategy session. So this is in addition to your the 1-hour bonus that I'm giving, but this is just one to hop on a call. If you think that yes, I want to write the book now, well, then definitely you need to hop on the call. But if you're thinking to yourself, I'm really still not sure if it's right for me, or maybe you're somebody that is just thinking, you know what, I would love to collaborate with you. I think I could send you some people, or I think that we could somehow work together to grow our business. And maybe a book isn't the right strategy for you right now, or maybe it's not the right time. Then that's okay too. But what I'd love the opportunity to do is sit and talk one-on-one. It's harder to do this in a webinar type scenario where I can't hear everybody's struggles and challenges and really kind of suss out whether or not this might be a great strategy or a great fit for you. So that is my ask today, is that if you are even contemplating a little bit that this could be a great strategy for you, is to please hop on a call and let's have a conversation. And Jen can also attest, I'm not like some pushy salesperson. I'm not going to like coerce you with all of my objection handling strategies and everything else. It really just is about me helping you make a decision about whether this is a good fit for you. Because if it's not a good fit for you, I'm okay with that too. It's not going to be a good fit for everybody. But if it is a good fit, I'd love to be able to talk through some of those maybe questions or concerns or things that you might have.